Hey everyone, welcome to this live product research webinar. I'm here with Jake, and our goal for today is to show you over our shoulders as we do product research, as when we talk to sellers, this is one of the biggest challenges they all have. So let's get right into things. Jake, do you want to cover what we're going to be going through?
Absolutely. Like Lenny mentioned, guys, we're doing live product research here with you. Hopefully, you guys will take a lot of value from this, seeing how we do product research. Maybe you're still in the early phases of product research yourself. I know a lot of you in the chat have been mentioning you are still looking for your product to sell, your first product to sell. So hopefully us doing it here will really be valuable for you. So let's go ahead and actually show you my screen here. And if you guys haven't seen the first two episodes, we've found 3 products per episode, and that's the goal. We'll have like a 15-minute countdown timer per product to try to see if we can hit 3 of the biggest criterias of a good product, which is high demand, low competition, and profitability. So 15 minutes per product isn't enough time to show you everything, but it's enough time to get the bases down. And really, we just want to show you guys how we get started with product research. So we aren't running through the full gamut here, but we're showing you what we look for. And then after we find good products, we would really ideally spend more time on it, but we're trying to do this in a efficient manner. So you guys see us through multiple scenarios, finding good products to sell. So right now I have opened the Jungle Scout product tracker. If you have a Jungle Scout account, I think you know what this is. It's a way for us to organize our product ideas into a single place. Right now, I'm on the overview page where we see all of our product ideas here and a lot of metrics that we use to determine, again, those 3 criteria that we look for. But we can open up a single group and see the individual products inside. We can open it up to see certain things like the product trends over times in terms of units sold here. We have rank that we can see. There's a lot of different things that we can use Product Tracker for. If you don't have Jungle Scout, you can still do this, whether it's on an Excel sheet or keeping it in a separate location, obviously outside of Jungle Scout. Now, we do have Jungle Scout deals going on right now. It's Prime Week, so if you are wanting to try out Jungle Scout, there's a link in the chat right now where you can click to see our latest Jungle Scout deals. It's a 60% off discount. They're huge deals, so definitely take advantage of those if you aren't a user already. So last week, Lenny, if you remember, we added these 3 products. I love that sound effect. I did not know that was coming. Awesome. Well, Lenny, if you remember, we added 3 products last episode, these car items here. So just as a quick refresher, if you haven't seen those last 2 episodes, we do this category by category. So we started off, I believe, in the automotive, I want to say, arts, crafts, and sewing was the first episode, and then we did automotive. Today we're actually going to do baby. So we're just going down the list here. So last episode we added these bottom 3: the car pump, the car cup holder expander, and car privacy curtains. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Lenny, we said out of those 3 that we added, the car pump was the best and the one that we would at least spend more time really digging into. And the reason we sort of felt that way was because let's look at a few metrics. The average daily sales column right here will show us how many sales these products on average are getting per day. We want to see at least 10, and the car pump is getting 100 from the products that we added. You can see 15 products up here. And in comparison, 59 and 20 for the other 2 groups. When it comes to competition, average daily rank column is where we would look. Or I'm sorry. Average daily rank is what we would look at right here. And we can also see it's got a lot of reviews. So 22,000, the review column has 8,700 reviews. So it is the highest competition that we saw out of those 3 groups that we added. But if we look at the profitability, it's also the highest there, average net column. So $30 is what these products on average are netting. So we were pretty confident that this was the best group that we found. And basically for this video, we're going to find 3 more. So Lenny, anything to add here before we dive into the opportunity finder tool?
No, I mean, just also to mention that, again, we picked that as the best product based off of the small amount of time that we were doing product research live with all of you watching. So yes, it was the best pick from what we found, but of course, if you can, one of the big downsides with that particular product was the high number of reviews and the competition level. So again, if you can find something with less competition, that's better. But yeah, I just wanted to make that note. I'm excited to dive into the baby category and find some new products to add.
Absolutely. And just wanted to show one more thing before we do dive in. Guys, if you're still starting out, I see a lot of people still in the comments talking about still trying to find a product. So Jungle Scout has this amazing PDF, or it's also a you can just view it for free. So it's a guide of how to get started selling on Amazon. It's really nice. So you can come down here and open up these modules, and it's basically a full course of how to sell on Amazon completely free. This is like most of the content. However, to get the full guide, if you just put your name and email in one of these forms here, you'll get it sent to your email completely free, and you'll be able to see everything. So like I just mentioned, the three kind of criteria that we're going to go over today is profitability. We obviously want to find a product that we can be profitable selling. You also want to find a product that has high demand in low competitions. So low competition is one that we'll talk about more in this video. It's not the biggest criteria out of all three to focus on. High demand and profitability would be the two that we really want to make sure we find a good product that fits those two right there. Also, we have this video, how to sell on Amazon, that we just released not too long ago over on our channel. So you can find it on our homepage. Definitely watch this video if you're new to selling on Amazon or you're trying to do a new product launch. This video will be immensely valuable. We put a ton of work into that video. It's our biggest video we do every year. So check that out on our homepage if you haven't already. So now that we know what we're looking for, oh, and to find this, guys, I guess I didn't mention that. Go to junglescout.com, hover over resources, and then how to sell on Amazon. That first resource in the bottom left will get you to this page. And the URL is up here, junglescout.com/how to sell on Amazon FBA. All right, Lenny. So let's move over to the Opportunity Finder tool. So this is a tool within Jungle Scout under the Product Research tab to help you find product niches. So what we're doing basically is we're going to select the baby category in the United States. If you're outside of the United States and you want to sell in a different marketplace, you can choose from one of these available marketplaces. But we're in the United States, so we're going to stick here. And you can choose a bunch of categories or one. We're just choosing one for this example. And we're going to enter a few filters over here to really isolate the type of products that we want to sell. So as I mentioned, the first thing we want to look for is a product that has high demand. To gauge high demand on Amazon, we like to look for products that have an average of 300 monthly units sold, which I mentioned this earlier, equates to 10 daily sales per day. So we'll put 300 in the minimum filter here. For the average monthly price, anywhere from 20 to 70 will get us, I'm going to do 25. I'm going to cheat a little bit. Will get us a product that will most likely have enough room for profitability. So we like to say anything under $20, it's going to be hard to make a profit on that product because Amazon fees will eat up maybe $5 to $10 of that. So you want to be careful with products under $20. Not saying you can't sell them, but just in our experience, shooting for at least $20 to $25 minimum is a general rule of thumb that I would follow.
Yes.
And then Lenny, so the other thing that we want to do is there's a competition slider here that you can adjust as well. So like we mentioned, we do want a low competition niche ideally, but on Amazon, it's 2022 right now. That's becoming a very hard thing to find and to find a product that has also high demand. So we'll stick to a medium maximum threshold there for competition. But one slider over here that we can manipulate that's worth it, in my opinion, to go all the way down to low is the seasonality filter. So what this means is we don't want to find anything that only sells during Christmas time. We wouldn't want to sell a Christmas tree. Now, that wouldn't be a bad idea, but just remember that you're only going to get sales for the most part during a 1 to 3 month time period. So we want to sell things all year round. So that seasonality filter there will be really clutch for us to use. So Lenny, I think we're good to run this search here. We're going to exclude top brands, so that way we're not seeing people like Nike and Apple show up. We're obviously not going to be able to compete with them. So we'll go ahead and do that. We could include or exclude keywords to really hone in on a certain idea that we have going into it. But we want to show you guys, if you're new to product research, just how to get started, how to set yourself up for success with these filters, and find a product that maybe you didn't think about selling. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to keep it really open first, and then if we want, we can kind of filter in and really hone in on our product ideas. All right.
All right.
Great. So Lenny, let's go through this. Let's show them like sort of like our thought process of going through this list of 93 products, as you can see up here,
Yeah.
given our filters that we set. This is very like this is a very small list. Actually, it's awesome. Usually we would select a bunch of categories and deselect the ones that we don't want, and
Hmm.
you'd see hundreds, if not thousands. But 93 is actually really doable.
Yeah,
Um,
very manageable, particularly for how much time we've got today.
Absolutely. And you'll notice a lot of these things you won't want to sell. You can see, so Parents Choice diapers right there. Parents Choice is probably a brand. So we can actually click this open to see a bunch of helpful tabs here. So just for example, average units sold. This is a really good tab right here. You can see it in the past
Hmm.
2 years and you can start to track it. So last month, or the average monthly units sold was 11,000, as we can see from the header here. And that's what we're seeing here. But over time, it's been actually in the 20,000s, as you can see. And it's been pretty consistent. It has its peaks and valleys, but for the most part, it's over $12,000. It's actually or 11,000 units sold.
Yeah,
So
looks like it's mostly pretty consistent.
yes, but like we're alluding into here, you wouldn't want to go into Parents' Choice diapers because if you look at the
Mm.
top products over here, that's probably a brand, Parents' Choice, or maybe it's not, but it's still a diaper, and I probably wouldn't want to get in with people like Huggies, and it actually does look like it might be a brand called Parent Product of Parents' Choice there. So
Yeah,
um,
don't want to deal with
yeah,
those
this is good to
refunds,
look through. You
those
don't want to deal with
returns.
refunds, absolutely. Okay, so let's go through this list. It's really we're just scanning
Okay.
to see what might be a good idea. And remember,
Yeah.
guys, we're not going to actually take a product here and then potentially sell it, which is a starting idea. So we might find something, and this might go anywhere. So, or
Yeah.
actually, real quickly. Oh, okay. Sorry, I do see we have a countdown timer.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, for those of you that are seeing a little countdown timer here, obviously you can spend hours doing product research. So because we're here with you live and we want to maximize that time, we're sort of giving ourselves a 15-minute little timer here to try and find a viable product idea. So that's what the countdown timer is for. Uh,
Awesome.
cool. So I
So
guess
let's
yeah,
go ahead
like
and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna say, for those of you that are wondering, like, okay, what's the steps now? We're just gonna be looking through these, seeing any keywords or any products here that look interesting. So we're trying to think like, is this something that could be fairly simple to make? Probably also another big consideration particularly in the baby category, is what sort of liability does it have? We're going to try to find something that doesn't
Yeah.
have too much liability, that isn't too breakable or dangerous or anything like that. So yeah, that's kind of like what we're thinking about as we look through these. All right, so what have we got here,
Yeah.
Jake?
This is a Doppler fetal monitor heartbeat. So I was trying to figure out what that means, but I think I already do. It's a like a baby monitor. I imagine that you would try to hear the heartbeat, perhaps.
Yeah.
Something like this we've talked about in other videos. If it's an electronic, which most likely this is something you have to plug in or has batteries,
Yeah.
um, that category gets a lot of returns. So not saying you can't sell anything that has, like an LCD screen on it or uses some sort of technology, but just be aware that technology has a very high return rate, especially on Amazon. So I wouldn't stop my search here, but that's just something concerning right away that I would want to consider. Um, so yeah, this is, decent. One thing that actually turned me off to this, Lenny, is looking at the search volume. So this is a great way of gauging demand on a product,
Mm.
not just looking at the units sold, the estimated units sold, but looking at the search volume. So
Yeah.
in this case, we have the last 2 years pulled up, and it had a good little run here, and then after July of last year, it's really dropped off. Keep in mind, this is an exact match search term on this very long keyword here, so that doesn't mean too much. We'd probably want to take this keyword, plug it into our keyword scout tool and find other keywords and really get a whole picture of this keyword as a niche. But this is something that I think is important to look at, is keyword search volume in terms of pairing it with units sold to gauge demand. So
Yeah.
I saw something on here that I thought was interesting. This baby bathtub with shower sprayer. So that's not
Okay.
electronic. It doesn't sound like it's electronic.
Yep.
Okay, this is cool. So pretty solid unit sold consistency.
Yeah.
Search volume. What do we got here? Okay, pretty consistent. It's got its peaks and valleys, but it looks pretty
Yeah.
consistent. No harsh drops.
Yeah, I guess it's sort of like
Um,
when you would sort of like look at the uh, the valleys in particular and sort of see like even at its lowest points, is there still reasonable search volume there? Like it would, if it
yeah.
goes all the way down to zero, then it may not be great, but there's still reasonable search volume year round. And then what have we got here in the top product? So this is where you can sort of
Yeah.
determine like if you're not quite sure what the niche is referring to, this will kind of shed some light on that.
I'm not seeing though the actual product. So this is interesting.
Yeah.
These all look different. This looks like a bathtub, and then you have like a spray pump here. But the keyword we're looking for is baby bathtub with a shower sprayer. So it's like a 2-for-1. Something we can do is we can actually just click this icon to run a search on Amazon and see all the products in a much bigger view for us. And we can also
Mm.
pull up the extension, which is really helpful. So I have the extension enabled here. We can access it up here at the top, or we can actually just look at some of this data at a glance down here. So yeah, Lenny, I'm not really. Here's one. It looks like so. We're looking for a tub like this with a shower handle. This one looks like it, but these don't. This looks like a tub, and then the actual spray portion of it, but it doesn't come with the actual tub. And if we scroll down, we'll see. Okay, there's 2 more there. Scroll down. Okay, so far we have 3 of them. These all look sort of different. I'm not seeing a combo here. So this is interesting. There's
Yeah.
not really a market there. It's like one or the other. So yeah, what I might do is actually, we could pull up the extension if we want, and I might even
Yeah. I
just
mean,
do a search
it's
for one of those baby bathtub even.
yeah. You're saying like it's more popular. Like there's not many. It doesn't look like there's many products that have the bathtub and the sprayer, but maybe there's
And the
more
sprayer.
more demand for just the bathtub, for example, or one or
Right.
the other.
Right. And it could be a great idea to, we always talk about making your product different to differentiate your
Yeah.
product. And that does a lot of things that makes you stand out, that you're able to increase your price. As you can see, just this tub is $32. Now the tub
That's a
with
great price.
a
Yeah.
sprayer is, yeah, 51. And it's getting 27 daily sales. Now it does have a ton of reviews, but if we come back down to these other 2 products here, so this one to the left, it doesn't probably have a parent category, so that's why there's no data for it. And this one to the right is only getting 3 daily sales, way more expensive than that one above. And this date first available column, I love looking at this. So these guys just launched a month or 2 ago, and they're already getting 3 daily sales. That's not what we want.
Wow.
We want 10 daily sales, but
Okay.
keep in mind it's going to take some time to get there. So they're doing it. They're doing a pretty good job, I think, so far. Yeah, this guy probably doesn't have a parent category. We can confirm that by opening up the listing here, scrolling down to the bottom. If it doesn't have a parent category, so there's no category shown here, then unfortunately, no software tool is going to be able to basically estimate the sales. So that's why we're not seeing anything there. Um, so that's a bummer. We can't see that right now, but Amazon's probably just having a hard time categorizing that product for some reason. So what do you think, Letty? Do we want to do a search for just baby bathtub?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Because I imagine this is going to be a huge category.
Yeah, I could sort of tell that you could spend a lot of time here because one, we're looking at the broadest variation, which is baby bathtub, but then even as I
Right.
briefly saw, when you type in the autofill, there's so many variations of that. So baby bathtub for newborn, baby bathtub seat, oh, that's interesting. Baby
Seat,
bathtub
right.
with stand. So you could,
With shower
you might
sprayer.
look at baby bathtub, and I'm sure that that's going to have a ton of demand. Like this, I'm sure there's a ton of sales coming through, but I'm also sure that baby bathtub is probably very competitive by itself, which is where you would start going through all these sort of different variations because you might be able to find sort of another niche within baby bathtubs that
Good
might
point.
be a little less competitive and easier to get into, and just like a way to differentiate your product.
I I love that point. In fact, this is a good example of that. So these are inflatable baby
Okay.
bathtubs.
Interesting.
And if you think about it, that would be a lot easier to ship because it's going to be packaged so small. It'll be
Mm.
a lot lighter than something that's plastic. Maybe we do a quick search on that because I'm pretty sure if we run the extension on this baby bathtub, it's going to be really competitive. So this is interesting. Let's just actually pull up the extension here. Let's see what pops up. Oops, I press it twice. See what pops up here. So we're looking for this high demand at this point, and we have 5 minutes left. So maybe we'll try to verify the demand and then switch over to the profitability and look at Alibaba. So what we can do when we pull up the extension here is look at all this information in a way more digestible way than just scrolling
Yeah.
through all the results. And we can use daily sales column and monthly sales column here to determine the demand. We can use the rating number here, which is essentially just reviews, to determine the competition. And then the net column here, this will help us determine the profitability as well as the price column here. So we can actually like click open on one of these and it brings up a FBA Profit Calculator. And so if we pretend we get this product for $3 from the manufacturer, oops, my computer or my extension just refreshed on me. So we can say, $3 is what this product's going to cost hypothetically, and we can start to see how much we would make on each sale. So $3 we would make, which is 100% ROI, which is what we shoot for. We want 100% ROI ideally. So let's just look through here real quick. What do you see, Lenny? Anything stand out like demand or even competition wise? It looks pretty strong from the top 10 so far.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got some
Yeah.
reasonable demand there, particularly the daily sales, the monthly sales. When you look at that, remembering we're looking for at least 300 per month. This looks pretty strong.
Mm.
You kind of want to see the monthly sales spread out amongst
Yeah.
a lot of the top listings. You don't want to see only one or two listings getting the majority of sales. And whilst the top two listings there are a bit higher than everyone else with sort of 2,000 and 5,000 sales, the
Yeah.
others there still are getting in the hundreds of sales. So
Hmm.
it's still reasonably well. There's still plenty of sales to go around for everyone else on that top, on that first page.
Yeah, I like to look at something like this too. So like you find a product like this selling for $24.99, which is right around our minimum price range. It has 20 daily sales, which is 2 times more than what we want. They just launched this year, February 2022, and they only have 20 reviews, and they're still getting 20 daily sales. So that's really cool to
Yeah,
see. And they're
right.
netting
Yeah.
$15. And this is, of course, pre-product price. So I would love to like maybe even it's like use this as an example. If we were to sell something very similar to this, with the remaining time we have here, maybe Lenny, we can jump into the profitability and look at this on Alibaba.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I'm going to take the main keywords here. This is what we would recommend is take the main keyword that's also the most descriptive of the product you're trying to match and copy that into Alibaba.com. And I'm just going to go back real quick while that's searching and just kind of look at this picture. So it's a frog one. So I know a lot of the other ones had like designs. This one's a frog. That's unique. If you look through some of these, okay, it has back support on it. That's probably an important thing for parents. Anti-slip is one of the features. It has a hanging hook. Obviously, it needs probably like a water drain plug. This is probably like our inspiration product that we want to look at and say we can probably do something very similar to this um, if we get everything right. So what we can do is go back to Alibaba here and look for something similar. So we're gonna have to scroll until we find something like
Yeah.
this. It's promotional, maybe something closer to this. That's like custom logo on there. So $6. We'd
Okay.
obviously want to open it up. I'm gonna open, yeah, in another tab. $3 here. We're maybe trying to find like the average of an inflatable one. $5. $4. And guys, we would spend so much more time on this, but because we're running out of time, Lenny, let's maybe take like a very high price range, like $5, and say that.
Yeah.
Um, so what I'll do is come back here, click the net profit. Um, is that the right one? It was $20. I thought it was. Yep, let's just take that one. Oh, yeah, even at $20. Let's take this guy here. Oh, it doesn't have the information. So most likely Amazon's not showing their dimensions on the page. So we can't determine that. So let's just take this one here, which is $23.99. Let's say it costs us $5 to make. Our ROI is $192, but we've talked about this before. Then we got to factor in shipping costs.
Yeah.
This is just the $5 to make the product. We're going to need at least, I think, $4 probably to ship it, maybe $3.
Yeah, I
So
think
if we
that's
add an additional
it's
$3,
because it's going to be a pretty lightweight,
yeah,
pretty lightweight product.
yeah. So if we're selling it at $23.99, at worst case, maybe we'll say we need to get this at an $8 price range in order for it to be profitable. So if we even sell it at $24.99, that might be closer to 100. What we'd want to do at this point, I know we just ran out of time, but to close this out, what we would do is a lot more product research here. Of course, this is just sort of our initial steps. And as we can see here, we can sort of make an assumption on just one product that if we can't get this under $8, with the idea that we're going to sell it at least $24 or $25, then this product might not be profitable for us. So you just saw us kind of go through this idea of demand, and we verified that by finding a niche like this inflatable baby bathtub and looked at the daily sales of at least the top 10. And then competition, we did look at a little bit, but as you can see, there's 3 products that are in the thousands of reviews in this whole top 10. So that's not bad. We want to see something similar to this, where there's products under a couple hundred that do very well in the top 10. And then for net profit, again, we'll dive into this way more, but we want to be able to get around 100% ROI with our estimates. So that really quickly in 15 minutes was one product idea. Len, anything you would add before we maybe do some questions here?
Yeah, we'll jump into some questions here in a sec, but no, I think this is like an interesting opportunity. Again, it's like you're kind of like looking at something really broad, like baby bathtub, but then you might be able to kind of like niche down and find opportunities within that. As I mentioned earlier, I think that you could spend a lot of time looking at lots of different variations of the baby bathtub sort of category. I'm sure there's like a lot of different opportunities there of things that people are looking for. And this is a cool example of starting in Opportunity Finder with one idea, and then that's sort of like led us down this track to finding another one.
Exactly. That's cool.
And what I like about this inflatable one is, I guess there's like always pros and cons. So it looks like, the full big bathtub with the sprayer, or even just the bathtub itself. It looks like you could typically sell that for a higher price, which is always great. But that one would also cost a lot more as well. Actually, it would probably be, quite heavy and costly to ship. So, you could run numbers. It would be interesting to kind of run numbers on that and kind of see what is the profit margin after everything else. But what I do like about the inflatable version is that being inflatable, it can be super lightweight, it can be packed down really small, and it feels like it might just be an easier product to handle. You won't be able to sell it for quite as much, but it feels like there's probably a lot less hassle. And ultimately, it's like, while you do want a good price, it's like ultimately you just want the highest profit, or like whatever has the greatest difference between the amount you can sell it for and the amount you actually keep. And even though this sells for less, it potentially, like, I suspect it might even have like a better profit margin, because the bathtub itself is quite heavy. That might end up chewing up a lot of your a lot of that money with the shipping costs and so forth. So there's definitely like more digging you could do, but I like this idea.
Yeah, those are great points you make. I think what's really cool, like you mentioned, is we started with an idea here. We looked at it and we determined in a very short time that a product like this didn't have that much demand because there's only 3 products out there. Not saying that would be a bad idea. In fact, that would really make us stand out. But by looking for something with more demand, prioritizing demand, we came across just the idea of, all right, let's simplify it to baby bathtub. I think if you're, you just think about that without even looking at data, you would assume that's a huge category. So we very quickly, in the sake of time, added like another keyword in this term, or in this way, inflatable, to try to niche down even more. And I think we found a good niche. Like, this is really
Yeah.
interesting for all the points that you pointed out. And I actually see Eva Minecraft in the chat brought a really good point to the surface here. So like you see a duck here, right? And then you see these basic ones where it's like a design. I think I saw a whale on here as well. So like, yeah, this whale one. So you can get really creative here and do some really interesting things to stand out. You hardly see any two same designs in this niche so far. So that's also another important, criteria that we'd want to look at eventually, is how can we differentiate? How can we stand out? What can we do to, maybe increase our price a little bit more, pairing it with certain products? Like I see this one actually comes with a pump. So like you can throw in a pump there, maybe increase your price by $3 to $5. So a lot of things that you could do so far with this niche, and hopefully this helped you at least get into like the rhythm of looking through product ideas, especially with the opportunity finder here, and what we would look for, and go from there. So
yeah,
yeah,
cool. All right. Well, yeah, I guess we'll take a couple of questions here. So I'm just going to kind of add some in. So Harris says, what if you find a product indirectly through the opportunity tracker or opportunity finder, so that exact category is not mentioned, but you find it by scrolling through similar products? I think I follow, and if I'm following right, that's again kind of a good example of what we just did, where we ended up finding something sort of indirectly through the opportunity finder, where we found something else, and then by going down that path, we found the product that we were after. If you're talking about trying to find something that maybe it doesn't have a category, or you can't seem to find otherwise in opportunity finder, what I'd maybe point you towards is including keywords. So that's kind of a way to, or including or excluding keywords is kind of a way to narrow down your search results. If you can't do it by category, you could just select all categories, or if you want to narrow down a category, you can include a specific keyword to narrow down the results that you're getting. All right, so I've got another question here. Is there any approval to sell baby products? And with that, I'll kind of share a cool little tip here. So one thing that you could do, if you're wondering, is I'm in Seller Central. Just go to Catalog, Add Products, and then assuming that you're doing private label, click on I'm adding a product not sold by Amazon. And then basically what you can do is type in the product that you're after and click search. And typically if it's something that you do need approval for, it will tell you. But in this instance, it's like it's actually allowing me to kind of click through and create a listing. But you wouldn't be able to get this far if it was a restricted category, or there was it was a restricted product. It would basically tell you at this stage. So that's a neat little hack that you can use there.
Cool.
All right, cool. Thanks for the comments here from Eva. You got a generic tub and a duck tub. Basically, the top tubs anyone can think of about top of the head. Then you followed up with but a donut tub. I'm guessing you are brainstorming different bathtub ideas there. Actually, there was also another comment here from earlier on. Parents' Choice is Walmart's exclusive private brand. So Jake, I'm wondering if maybe none of those listings were actually Parents' Choice. It might have just been people are searching for that brand, but they can't find it on Amazon. Because it would be it'd be interesting if Walmart was selling their brands on Amazon. That would be quite hilarious. All right, and then one other question here from Stephanie. If you have a manufacturer in China, will it be wise to mention it when listing the product on Amazon? You don't necessarily need to call that out in the listing on Amazon. Most people don't typically, but you do need to disclose that on the product itself. So you do need to say that it was made in China if that was the case on the actual product itself. But it's not necessary on the listing, and you don't see it all too often. All right. So this next question here, how can we know if this product is a private label product or if it's a wholesale product, I guess? What would you say to that, Jake?
Yeah, I could show that on my screen here if you want to switch back to to my screen here. So that's a great question. So there's a lot of products out there where I'm just pulling up the extension here real quick on this search term for baby bathtub with shower spray. There's a lot of products out there where you'll see a bunch of sellers on the listing. Typically, that's a wholesale product, a product that you can wholesale, where there's not a private label seller kicking people out of the buy box. With the extension, you're actually able to look at the amount of sellers. So in this column right here, you can see 1361. If you see one, that's probably a private label product. 6, 1, 1, 1. So these 13, 6, and 6 sellers, the amount of sellers on the listing is where you're probably going to be able to identify if it's private label or not. So this also is an interesting column here, seller type. This tells you who's selling the product, whether it's Amazon, an FBA seller, or an FBM seller. So something to consider here as well, this could answer the wholesale question, is if it's an FBM seller, a lot of times that is a wholesale, or not always, but it is a wholesale product. A lot of people doing wholesale will send their own products in. Same with the retail and online arbitrage. With FBA, you have way better chances of it being a private label product. And then if it's Amazon, so that's something that we typically recommend not competing against. So this was that one product that we looked at. It was one of the only baby bath showers or baby bathtubs with the shower handle. So this is a product where, there's a lot of sellers on it, and one of them is Amazon. So if you were doing wholesale, which you can use these tools to find wholesale products, I would probably stray away from anything with Amazon in the buy box. So to answer that question, definitely want to look at the number of sellers. You can use the extension to do that, or just jump on a product detail page, open the buy box, and look at it there. But also keeping in mind, you don't want to jump on a buy box or a listing with Amazon as the seller. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. So we'll take a couple more questions here before we jump into the next product. Let's see. Awesome. So Eva says, is it safe to say you can roughly estimate shipping costs from the factory by looking at the Amazon fee in the calculator, and then plus 15% or 15% plus costs? So yeah, predicting a rough production cost. So yeah, the extension makes it pretty quick to estimate the FBA fee. So I would just kind of use that. Or if you didn't have Jungle Scout, you can actually do that on Seller Central as well. Just type in like Amazon FBA calculator or Amazon fee calculator, and it'll probably be the top listing, and you can get that pretty quickly as well. And generally, if Jake and I were doing product research, say by ourselves, we would typically just estimate the shipping costs per unit pretty quickly. Like if it's a smaller product, it might be $1 to $2. If it's a larger one, we might go a little more conservative and kind of go $3 or $3 to $4. It's obviously not super accurate, and you obviously want to make it more accurate the further you go down the line. But it's just like, yeah, when you're doing product research and going through tons of ideas, you just want to get a rough idea of like, is this remotely possible? Or sometimes just by adding in like $3 or $4 for shipping, you might just see like, oh no, there's no way that this is going to make much profit at all. So yeah, you can definitely do some sort of shorthand calculations during this stage. All right, and then Eva also followed up about, what about PPC costs? So I would say like what we do, or what we sort of think about when we're looking at the profitability, is we're typically aiming for at least 100% ROI, meaning if you pay,
Yeah.
$5 for this product and shipping, that you would like to get at least $5 back in profit. So I think as long as you're keeping in mind your overall ROI and your profit margin or net profit margin itself, I wouldn't go lower than, say, maybe like 20% profit margin. I think as long as you've got like healthy margins, then that can help relieve things like PPC costs and other expenses that you have. But certainly the largest cost is the product and the shipping cost. For PPC costs, my rule of thumb is sort of like 5 to 10% per product. Obviously, like if you're looking at your typical A cost, that would be a lot higher, but that's only for, because your PPC sales only make up a certain amount of your overall sales. When you average it out, it's probably closer to like 5 to 10% of your sales price. So that's kind of the rule of thumb I use for PPC, but I'd say more so just like think about having like a really healthy profit margin, 20, 25%, or even like really like try to shoot for like 30% profit margin. If you do that, you should be able to absorb most of those other fees.
Great question.
Alrighty. Yeah, no, thank you all for the questions. Let's keep on moving. So, Jake, do you think I bring up our little countdown timer, friend? And
All right, let's do it. Round two. Round two.
All right.
Cool.
Here we go.
While you were starting that Q&A, I did add those products that we saw for the inflatable baby bathtub into a product tracker group. So we have that here for us to look at later and in the next episode. So since the timer's going, let's do another round of product research here. And again, guys, at a very high level, we're just showing you what we look for. What we do in 15 minutes, we would really do in at least an hour. So this is good, hopefully, for your guys' understanding of what to look for. Okay, Lenny, so let's scroll down here. I saw a few things that I want to definitely look at further, but just an example of something to avoid is CeraVe Baby Wash. That's a brand. You can confirm that by looking at the top products and understanding. Okay, it's not showing up there, but this is a brand CeraVe, so you can see them right there. Wouldn't want to do anything there. One thing we could do if we didn't have 15 minutes on us is exclude keywords, so we could put in CeraVe and some other words that we just don't want to see here. Parent's choice or diapers could be a good one. Maybe you don't want to sell diapers and you understand that. So, one I saw, let's see, some of these are interesting. I looked at this one and caught my attention. So umbrella for stroller with a clamp. So this seems really long tail. I love this idea because, and just thinking of it, don't even know what it looks like. Top products and sort by monthly sales is exactly what I thought it was going to be. It's an umbrella with a clamp, and one of the use cases is a stroller. Lenny's heard me say this a million times. I love products that are so generic, but one of the marketing scenarios, like one of the use cases, is for a baby, or for a dog. So this is essentially an umbrella. We can open it up to look what it looks like. This is an umbrella that has a clamp on it, and you can use it for a lot of things. And one of the things including is a baby stroller. So this company here is showing it over a beach chair because all it is an umbrella with a clamp, as you can see here. So you can clamp it onto anything. And in this case, it's actually, a lot of people I assume are buying this for their baby stroller. What I can do is do a Command F search for the word stroller and see that they actually have it in their bullet point. Where else they got it? In their product description down here. And is there any other mention? Someone's talking about it in the review. So there's talking about it being used for their stroller. So this, to me, I've always said is a great idea to find something that could be marketed towards baby, but it's a generic product, because this is just one of the use cases. So this niche is huge. Like you could, if you're just looking at the one for a stroller, like it looks great as well. But imagine getting sales for something you didn't even realize was your product was being used for. So, Lenny, I'm excited to jump into this one. What do you think we sort of open up the extension on this and run the numbers?
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Cool. So got it opened up here, the page. We could, again, just pull up the extension, but I actually might want to just use the search results extension here to see how many products there are like this. So this is exactly what I would do if I were selling this product. We don't know if it's good or not yet, but they are very clearly marketing their product for a baby stroller. So they're really honing in on this category. So this could be a second or third image, but they're deciding to put it right up front as their main image. Amazon might not like that because you're showing a baby stroller. That's not a part of the deal, but they at least grayed it out to make it really clear. But this is interesting. Let's pull up the extension, Lenny, and see. Let's check the demand first. I think that would probably be the most important, criteria we want to check off before we get too excited here. And I'm really excited. So give it some time to load in here. What are you seeing, Lenny?
Yeah, I'm seeing pretty good numbers overall. My initial, eyes drawn to the fact that that top umbrella has 17,000 monthly sales. The rest have significantly lower. A number of them are still in the, triple digits. So there's 300, 400, 200, 300, couple or a few there that are less than 100. So, that does worry me a little bit. Like I said earlier, you kind of want to see the sales more evenly distributed. So this is actually kind of a good example of that not being the case. Yes. It does see, other people are getting sales, but gosh, that top listing is getting a huge portion. So it's sort of for one reason or another. I don't know whether they're a big brand that people trust, or actually, I guess looking at this, they've got the highest number of ratings by far. They've got 45,000 ratings, reviews, and these others are, significantly less. So that probably is the reason. So yeah, that's kind of like my observations there. It's not as ideal as I would like, but then otherwise the price, the average price is pretty good. It's over $20, not quite. The average isn't quite over the $25 mark that we sort of set, but it's over $20, which is good. Those kind of like my initial.
We're seeing like at the top here, average monthly sales over 1,000, which is obviously great, but that's including a lot of products here. So I would be curious to see, like, these are obviously not targeted towards baby strollers. So what you could actually end up doing with this similar, and this is some of these look totally different as well, like these shades, sunshades, which could be a whole other tangent we can go off onto. We could really just start looking at sunshades now. Maybe sunshade for the strollers do a lot better than an umbrella with a clamp on it. We won't go there for the sake of time, but one thing, Lenny, you could do as well is we are very clearly looking for a stroller umbrella. We could take off the word stroller and just look at umbrella with clamp. And I'm sure that would solve the demand issue that we're seeing here, because you're 100% right. Outside this one listing and maybe these top like 4 other ones, once you get past there, nobody's really doing more than 6 sales a day. There's a guy down here at 34, but for the most part, this demand looks very weak, and we wouldn't want to proceed any further if that was the case. So as a way to see if we can still use this idea, because I think it's a cool marketing angle. Like if you had this idea, this product, you can market it towards baby strollers. But what happens if you just look at umbrella with clamp now? I'd be really curious. I'm sure this is going to be a lot more competitive, but maybe there'll be more demand as well. So let's pull up the extension here. But hopefully you guys can see like sort of how we're getting here. Like we started in the opportunity finder. We found a niche that sounded interesting. We really didn't look at the search volume, but that's something we'd probably want to look at eventually. The search volume is trending up, so that's great. But then we, decided that it definitely didn't have a lot of demand, but there was still opportunity to look into a different niche, like a parallel niche. And right off the bat here, I think it's definitely more spread out. You see that, outside of this one guy at the top, we're seeing a lot better distribution of the wealth. And over 10, I haven't seen one outside of this one at 6 that isn't above 10 so far. As you scroll down, certainly there will be more, but um, keep in mind when
Right.
people are launching these, like this person here with one daily sale just started like 2 weeks ago. So
Oh, wow.
that's interesting.
Mm.
You see the opportunity score here is at 5. I actually saw someone letting the chat mention the opportunity score. So, guys, the opportunity score is a great indicator. I wouldn't use it as your North Star. Definitely look at it, but you want to do your own confirmation as well. But it's a great starting point. So, while this is good, we're seeing high demand with medium competition. We would want to look into it further, but that is a great way to sort of get a glance at what's going on in the category.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I just brought up the comment there from Omar asking, is it good to have an opportunity score of 6? So just like Jake said, yes, very broadly, 6, I'd say probably 6 and above is good to, as a good starting point. But again, with all of these ideas, you want to kind of like dig into it a little bit deeper.
Absolutely. So, what are you thinking, Laney? I'm thinking this is a good niche so far in terms of demand. Let's maybe look at the competition. I know we can see at a high level right here. It seems pretty good. I don't think we've actually set a number yet in this video of what we look for. Um, if you do download this PDF here of how to sell on Amazon, you will see some more hard and fast rules. But I would say if we're just looking at this right now, high level, this seems pretty good. Over 1,000, in my opinion, is a competitive niche. Like if the average
Yeah.
amongst a lot of the top 10 is above 1,000, then that's going to be tough to compete with. But the fact that we're seeing sellers here at 35 reviews getting 35 daily sales is really inspiring. So just at a glance, would you agree, Lenny? This has maybe medium competition, like the opportunity score suggests, would be pretty accurate.
Yeah, so again, that one at the top is extremely competitive, but if you take that one out, it actually looks pretty reasonable. There's one down
Yep.
there that's got 1,300 reviews. That's quite high, but outside of that, there's a lot of listings in this first page of results. So just keep in mind,
Yep.
like people typing in umbrella with clamp, which I'm assuming there's probably a lot of search volume around, all of these
Oh yeah.
listings that only have 30, 40 reviews, they're all showing up on page 1 at the top of that page. So yeah, like Jake said, that's really inspiring to see people that have only started recently and they're already getting sales, and they're getting, making some traction with their reviews. So yeah, I'd say maybe medium competition, or at least sort of levels that I would be more comfortable with.
Yeah, it's something too. Like this is, if you have Jungle Scout, I would experiment with doing this. This is one of my favorite things to do. So I noticed that there were a couple of sellers down here that just started in 2022. What I love to do is actually use this filter options or customize the view. You can do either one, but we're going to filter. And this is something that I like to do when I'm doing product research. If you use this date range up here and you select 1 year and apply changes, you will find only sellers that just started out. So everything in here you see, this date first available column, will be products that just launched within the past year. So this is really exciting because this
Yeah, that's really
sort of
cool.
tells you like, yeah, like what happens if you launch today and next year what you could potentially be your product. So now we're looking
Yeah.
at all these products here, 24. You can see that at the bottom here showing one of 24 results. And of those 124, the average monthly sales is under 200, so not that good. Average rating number is 35, so very low competition. The average price is awesome, $34. But again, these products just launched within a year, so they're on their way to 10 sales a day. I would still, be very motivated by seeing a guy like this at 34 daily sales, 29, even 6, 7, 11. You can even see like the average sales history. So we're just displaying 30 days here. Maybe we want to see 90 days. What's interesting is potentially a lot of sellers are out of inventory, so that might mess with the estimation. But this seller, as you can see, is really growing, and so he's on his way to, 20 sales a day. I think he was at 11. So this is another good way to manipulate the data that you can do with Jungle Scout's extension.
Yeah, that's a really cool hack. Uh, Alrighty, well, let's kind of like wrap this up, and we've looked at we've looked at the price, we've looked at the demand, the competition.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do sort of our rough profitability check. So in order to do that, we need to get an idea of the cost. So jump over here to our favorite site, Alibaba, and see what we can find.
Yep, we're gonna find something similar. So if we just take an inspiration product, for example, that has like a similar price to what we might want to sell at, I think around $32 would be good. So this product here, as you can see, it's just a simple umbrella with a clamp.
Yeah.
That's sort of what we're looking for here. So this one doesn't look bad. It looks a little cheap, but maybe that's just the image. But it does come in multiple colors. And remembering, we might want to market this towards babies. So something maybe more neutral could work, like a black, white, gray color. Maybe a little bit of personality in there, but just keep that in mind. If you do pink or blue, that's marketing towards, a baby girl or baby boy. So something like that, black, $3. Okay. Then we have a blue one down here. I think it's pretty neutral, dark blue.
Yeah.
Almost $3. It's got it looks high quality. It doesn't look too cheap. $2, $2.50, $3.
Okay.
$4. That's the highest one I've seen. What would you say? Like $3 seems to be average?
$3 seems to be the average.
Okay.
Cool. And just remember, guys, like we're doing very, very quick, like try to get an estimate within 1 minute, which is just eyeballing all of these listings and kind of going, there's like trying to see what is the most like kind of the average number just by eyeballing the page. The next level up would be contacting some of these suppliers and actually getting specific quotes. Then it's going to be a lot more accurate, but takes more time. So we're doing the real quick approach here. And then, one other note that I just have as well, that if you're exploring this a little bit more, I would probably open up a number of these listings and try to get a sense of what size is this umbrella? Like, are these umbrellas all typically one size? Or is there a couple of different sizes, just to, again, make sure that, like, okay, the most common size seems to be this size, and then also making sure that the product that you're finding on Alibaba is that correct size and not a smaller one or that sort of thing. So those are sort of like more of the product specifics that I would be thinking about if we were to take that next step to sell this product.
And I just noticed, Lenny, there's a lot of products in here that aren't the clamps that messed up the calculations up here. So I'm seeing just like clamps. So I'm getting rid of those here in the extension and seeing that average daily sales really go up. So
nice.
Because a lot of those were like patio umbrella like mounts basically. So now we're up to like 252 on just these products that were launched last year. So if we open up the net profit calculator on one of these guys and type in, okay, so we said $3, right, for the estimated product cost. What do we want to do for shipping here? Just estimate another even $4 at most?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And if we do that, our ROI is
sorry, we're going to add those. So, were we going to add those together? Yeah.
Good point. Add point. So $3 for the product, $4 for shipping, $7 total. Geez, that would have been really nice. Okay, so even at that point, 167%. Let's say we even, worst case scenario, $8. I know we just ran out of time, but just another moment here. One thing to keep in mind is this product is actually small oversized. So what that means is we can use the extension to scroll all the way over to see the tiers. Oversized, you're going to pay more for because the dimensions are larger and they're usually pretty heavy. Some of these, actually, every single product here is oversized. So what we could do is that's okay. Like if the estimizations work out for profit to be, pretty strong, even with it being oversized. In this case, $8 still hits us our 100% ROI. In fact, maybe we could go $8.60. Okay, so closer to $9 would probably be our minimum price. Maximum price if we want to get this product. Yeah, even if we dropped our price to $30, like we're still getting close to 100% ROI with, let's say, $8.
Wow.
So this is cool. Like you could try your best to work with the manufacturer to get it packaged to be a standard size, because with standard you're going to pay a lot less in these FBA fees you see down here. The fulfillment fee, usually that fulfillment fee there. If you can't and you have to still sell in a small oversized product, that's okay. But just know that you need to get at least an $8 maximum product cost, including shipping and things like customs and tariffs. And someone mentioned advertising. You could bake that in as well, like maybe a
Mm.
dollar at most per product. I wouldn't, you know, pay too much. Advertising is important to bake into your product cost, but because you don't know that number and you can't quantify it yet, maybe just add a few cents to it. But you would need to at least hit $8 maximum when you're talking to suppliers. So that's what we would look for. We would be saying, hey, we can't go over $8 per unit. So help us get there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think this is kind of a cool product to add because, based off of these calculations here, it's like $30.99 is a little bit conservative because it seems like the average price is definitely
Yeah.
a little bit higher. A lot of them are a little bit higher. So already we're using a conservative price point and then
Hmm.
using $8 as a maximum sort of cost there
Yeah.
from what we saw real quick on Alibaba, it seems very possible because it feels like $3,
Yeah.
even maybe $4 for a product that still leaves a good amount of amount there for shipping. So it seems
Yeah.
offhand just that this could definitely be doable. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we tried our best to do the worst case scenario, which is what I'd recommend doing as well, is when you're doing these profit calculations, is maybe putting your price down pretty low, like 29.99, and then putting your product cost pretty high. So that way you're able to understand your worst case scenario. Like what happens when I launch my product for the first 2 months? I want to have a discount, or I want to
Yeah.
basically make it so easy for somebody to be like, okay, I know that product has 0 reviews, but it's so cheap. I'll give it a chance. So what happens when you run that calculation on the worst case scenario? This is the number that you need to go back to your supplier with and say, hey, if it's over 850 per unit, I'm not going to be profitable. I won't be buying from you. Move on to the next supplier. And if all your suppliers are telling you they can't possibly do anything under 850, then this product won't be profitable most likely.
Yeah. Well, I think it checks out in all the boxes that we're looking at. So I think we can add this guy to our product
Yeah.
tracker, and perhaps I will jump into the chat and grab a couple of questions.
All right. Yeah.
All right. So we've got a question here. Recommended budget to start private label in 2022. This is always a popular question that we get.
Yeah.
I think these days, I can give you a number. I would say like 5,000 is probably like a good minimum to get started. It's, it's a little bit arbitrary. It really, my advice is like the
Yeah.
more that you can get started with, the better. I would say though that my answer has changed. If you asked me like a couple of years ago, I would have said like maybe 2,500, 3,000 is you could get started with. You could still get started with that now, but I'm seeing more these days. I do feel that having more to get started with is going to really help you, particularly as I've seen more opportunities of selling high demand products that have medium to high competition. Those products are definitely possible to sell in these higher competition levels, but they do require more capital up front for you to have more inventory, to be kind of like running deals longer, and just to like keep grinding away until you can get a good number of reviews. So there's a lot of advantages for starting with a little bit higher of a budget, but if you don't have $5,000, I think you could still get started for less. It'll just take a little bit longer to grow.
Yeah, good question. Great points, Lenny. I think something else to consider too is how aggressive do you want to be towards
Yeah.
growth? If you're launching a product and you have tons of inventory and you can afford to be aggressive and um, do what we did. So we, just as context here, is we launched our product a year ago, a little over a year ago, and the first 2 months, I want to say, not even actually, like a couple of weeks, we went really heavy out the gate with discounts, promotions, and advertising, and we sold out like within 2 or 3 weeks. So we had to stop advertising. So we did lose a little bit of money there, but we built a ton of reviews up at that point because we sold a bunch of products, and we got our listing to a really healthy point to where we got back in stock and we had some reviews to work with. So if you if you're able to and you want to grow really fast, then I would maybe put a little more advertising budget at your product launch. Or if you just want to be really profitable right out of the gate, then I would slow down advertising and maybe spend a couple $100 a week at most. But like Lenny said, I think 5,000 and what do you say, the first month?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think that that's a really aggressive goal. So like if you're trying to, really increase your rankings or really go for growth, and a few $1,000s in your first few months should be more than enough to help get you there. But just consider your goals and how aggressive you want to be.
Yes. Alrighty. So we've got a question here from Carly. How do you add a ebook to your Amazon product? So I'm assuming that you are talking about physical products here, but you're looking to add extra value to your listing or to your product. So in the past, there was a way that you could use the buyer seller messaging system, and you could automate those emails, and you could even add attachments like PDFs, which was something that used to be popular in the past. That's not really best practice anymore to do that. So if I was looking to do that today, I would probably do something like having a little insert card in the product that has either a QR code or a URL where people can go to download the companion guide or the starter guide or whatever the ebook is that you would like to go with your product. That's probably like the easiest way, and the way that I would go about it is to have something physical in the box to guide them. All right, next question here from David. How do you ship DDP from China to FBA? So DDP stands for delivery duties
Delivery
paid.
duties paid, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So typically that's going to be, I'm not a shipping expert, but typically it's a little more expensive than your FOB or EXW prices. The reason being is that you pay more for DDP, but then it includes all of any duties or anything that you might need to pay. So I guess the idea is that it just makes it, you pay a little bit more upfront, but then you don't have to deal with all of that sort of customs stuff. So that's kind of the advantage there. In terms of how do you do it, it's not really any different to other shipping types. Really, you just talk to your freight forwarder or whoever's organizing your shipping. So typically you would either get your supplier to organize shipping through their freight forwarder, or you organize your own freight forwarder. If you use your own, you're going to have a closer line of communication about where your shipment is at, and you've got a little bit more control there. So it's probably a good idea to have your own freight forwarder, but really talk to them and ask for some different quotations. They can give you DDP, and then they can give you other quotations as well, and you just simply select which one you would like. They can obviously kind of give you guidance and kind of give you the pros and cons of the different types, but it's not really any more difficult than other forms. It's just a matter of getting those quotes and selecting which option you'd like.
Yeah. Lenny, real quick, I saw Carly message back in the chat about the ebook, and thought I'd jump in here because I've heard somebody do something similar. I just realized. So Carly said, it would be a recipe to add to her product. She has a in the kitchen department, so she wants to add a recipe, which sounds like an awesome value add to have. So we actually, Lenny, interviewed somebody. He was on our JungleCon video, and we had a series where JungleCon, and what he did was he had a water bottle, and he sold basically an app with it, I believe. And basically how he informed people to download the app is, I'm pretty sure, he had a product insert that came in the product itself that had a QR code. And so people would scan the code and then get free access to the app. So with the recipe, you could probably do this very similarly, or any type of digital product to add to any listing. Would it be add a product insert? And a lot of times suppliers will do this for free and use a QR code on there that goes to your recipe, or maybe a list of recipes. So what you might want to do in that case is add that to your title, add a picture as well, showing that you do get a recipe as well with this for free. It doesn't need to be the actual picture of the product insert, but it could show what that recipe looks like, or some sort of
Yes.
graphic that people can see is say, oh, I'm not just buying a Carly didn't mention what product it was, but let's just say it's a knife, right? I'm not just buying a knife. I'm buying a knife and like a little free cookbook comes with it, or some sort of digital asset that I get. So make that very evident in your title and your image, if you can with your main image as well, and just potentially do a product insert with the QR code.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a great idea, and a good call on including it in your listing too, because I'm assuming typically that would be the reason why you're trying to add this value, is that you're trying to make your product and your listing stand out from the others, so that people can see that, like, yeah, all these listings of knives, but you know, Carly's listing of a knife is the one that comes with something additional of value. So yeah, definitely want to call that out in the listing itself. Alrighty, so we've got a question here from Omar. Does it make sense to compete with a big brand? Essentially, I would look at the numbers. So the times where it wouldn't make sense to compete with a big brand is where, what was it? I think that umbrella or that instance where they dominate, 95% of the sales. If you see, something like that, where everyone's just buying this one product, it's a big brand, then you don't want to compete with them. However, if you've got big brands there and everyone, you've got big brands, you've got small brands, but the sales are reasonably distributed, then that validates that people don't just care about the big brand. They just care about finding the best product. So I would use the data to determine that decision. I personally don't look all too often about whether they're a big brand or not. There are times that I do, but I usually more so just kind of like look at what the data tells me. All right, let's see.
No, Omar actually asked another question here, Lenny. He's asking if we can deep dive into the products that you found here. So just to let you know, we're going to do that actually after this last product research session. So we have one more 15-minute countdown timer to find another product. And then at the end, we're going to review all 3 products and do a deep dive. And Lenny and I will sort of give our high-level thoughts on which one we would want to proceed with more first. So yeah, we'll do a deep dive here shortly on all the products we just found.
All right, we'll answer this last question and then we'll dive into that, looking for our third product there. So the question is, if products are ready, will Amazon pick products from suppliers, or the supplier send the products to the Amazon warehouse directly? You basically do need to have the shipping organized yourself. So that would be either you talking to your supplier, and then again, they will organize they'll organize their freight forwarder to send it into Amazon, or you can find your own freight forwarder and connect them with your supplier, and then they'll work together to get it sent into the Amazon warehouse. That being said, there is a newer workflow that I haven't tested out. I don't know if you know much about it, Jake, but there is a workflow where you can connect, I don't know exactly how it works, but like essentially you can actually connect your Seller Central account to your suppliers. And I think that might actually be the purpose that Amazon works with your supplier to get it shipped in, but it's not something that I've actually tried out, so I don't know all too much about it. And I can't remember what it's called. I don't know if you've seen that.
I can't remember what it's called either. I have seen that. And essentially, they're trying to do, if you sent products into Amazon already, you're aware of this, they have their own partnered carrier to help you get your products from your country when they land in the port to Amazon's fulfillment centers. So basically just like a truck that comes, picks it up and brings it to Amazon. They're trying to do the same thing with basically ocean freight. So like Lenny said, I'm not sure the name of it. I would probably just do some Googling and look up Amazon, what is it, like freight trucks or something similar to that, and try to find the name. It's still in its like beta stages, but that could be something worth looking up.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, let's say we jump back into finding a third product, and then we can compare them.
Yeah. Let's do it. All right. Do we have the timer? I'm gonna make sure I maximize every second.
Of
this timer.
I'm gonna have to Just this guy. All right, we'll give ourselves 15 minutes and all right, when you're ready.
All right, so we're doing one more here. We're going to try to find another product for you guys to see kind of what it looks like for us to do product research. And just real quick, if you guys are enjoying the video, give us a little like if you don't mind. That would be huge. So let's do this, Lenny. Let's see. Anything pop out, let me know. I'll bring it up. Let me come back up a little bit. Carter's diaper bag, like, that's probably a brand, but we can still kind of think about it in terms of diapers. Wipes, that might be a tough one to get into.
Yeah, actually, that just reminds me, just while you're kind of scrolling through there, one little note on my last point about how I don't necessarily worry about competing with brands. What I don't want to compete with, or what I don't like it when, that example there where people are searching for a brand is kind of one that I'm a little more cautious about, because they are searching for a specific brand. Those are scenarios where I may not use that keyword in my advertising or in my listing, obviously, if people are searching for a particular brand. But what have we got here? Silicone baby feeding set. Okay.
I was trying to figure out what it is. It looks like it's basically like utensils that could range from bowls to silverware. So potentially a good idea, but it seems really vague. Which could be a good thing. We can go in a ton of different places from here, but so far it looks like these are sponsored products, but it comes with a set right there. It looks like it's silicone, so the baby, I can imagine, can't break it. That's really smart. It's probably silicone is probably really cheap to make too. So this is an interesting kind of thought process that we can do at a high level. Yeah, what I'm seeing so far, Lenny, is like a set here. So 5 pieces. If we look at this first one, or second one, sorry, where it's, I don't know if that is that a bib? It is a bib. Okay, so it's a bib,
right,
a spoon and a fork, a plate with 3 different portion sizes, and a cup, all silicone, so the baby doesn't toss it off the table and it breaks. So this is interesting. I mean, I would be willing to look at it more.
Simple. It's like fairly simple. Shouldn't be breakable. It's going to be lightweight. There's like a lot of good things going for it.
There's so many ways to variate it. Like, you can see some people have like little bibs and pacifiers. Some people have 2 bowls, like a bowl and a plate. There's so much that you can do with this. So we would just have to be careful when we add it to our product tracker to maybe add some similar ideas together, rather than having just this where it's not a set, like this one is. So we'd probably want to add similar products, or just compare similar products. Maybe just going back here real quick. So we saw the average monthly units sold. One thing that's interesting about this is it has these 2 really big peaks up here, which really makes this data look a lot lower. Like, if you just look at everything past those peak, you're like, oh, this is not that good of a niche. But because these 2 bars are really high, it's skewing the data, like the visualization of it. So if I just go to the last year, visually it'll look a lot better, and you'll see that consistency over the past year. Well above, it looks like 200. It's always around 300, it looks like, which is really good. In some months, 700. So 2 years is great to look at, because you'll sometimes notice trends, especially with COVID. Like, something happened during COVID where these were better products to sell, and this isn't the case here. But it is good to see that 2-year perspective. Average price, this is, could be interesting as well. It's going up. That's good. But you don't want to see it going down. Average price.
Right.
You don't want to see that, especially in a recession. You want to sell something that is going to be a lot better for you to possibly get a profit from. Search volume seems pretty consistent. We know this isn't going to be seasonality because they're seasonal, because it's not a seasonal product. And cool. One thing we didn't show, Lenny, is you can actually, if you're using Jungle Scout, you can actually add from the product tracker straight from here, which is something I think is really cool. You don't need to use the extension. We're using the extension because it's easier on my eyeballs, at least, to just kind of scroll through the search results, and I can quickly, adjust this. Maybe I don't want it to be silicone, or, to see what else is up here, like set of 5, set dinosaur. So that's another interesting way to maybe vary the product.
Yeah.
Eco-friendly and BPA free. I imagine if I was a parent, I would want something that's eco-friendly. So, if I were to sell this product, I would definitely want it to be eco-friendly. I want to make sure it's safe for children to use. So that could be a keyword we enter in, and then just look at those products. But at a high level, Lenny, maybe we'll pull up the extension here to do a little deep dive on demand first and see
Yeah.
how in demand these are. I'll try to take out some of the products that don't seem to be similar to the sets that we were just looking at. Um, Give it a second to load. My computer is probably running a million miles per hour right now. So what are we seeing here, Lenny, in terms of demand?
All right. So we've got some listings there with really high monthly sales. You've got,
Hmm.
okay, surprisingly, there's a few listings there that have much lower monthly sales, only about one or so daily sales. Uh, I mean, I would definitely like to see more evenly distributed sales there.
Yeah, that jumps out right away. Is you got this guy at the top here. It's that set. You can keep in mind a lot of these are different products, um, but I'm with you on that. I mean, there are some down here, 15, 15, and the reviews are, I think it's a pretty low competition category. Um, Opportunity score just says it's medium, so that's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, if you look
Interesting.
at the ratings there, yeah, not too bad. There's like one listing there with over 1,000, or actually there's a second one down
Yeah.
lower in the page, but otherwise it's like pretty good.
Yeah. What's like interesting too is like I'm still seeing a lot of products 2021, 2022. So like this top 10, this product's 11, so it doesn't count. So if we just look at the top 10, every product was launched in the past year. Essentially, this one's maybe a year and a half old now, but this is cool to see. I mean, this is you can really see what can happen if you're jumping into this category, which maybe at the service doesn't seem like to be the highest demand category. But these products just launched and there seems to be success there. Um, so that's very interesting. As you come down here, some of these products really have a lot of sales, a lot of reviews as well, but they're probably different. They're probably more niche down. So like what we could do as well, and maybe we don't have time to go on to another kind of tangent here, but is we can see these are just like plate sets with lids. So we started
Yeah.
with a feeding set. So like we could potentially narrow down in our product research and get all the products separated from a set to plates to bowls to maybe just like silverware, silicone. And we're really just starting at this with this set, and then we can really niche down even further. So this is interesting to see all the possible ways that we could sell something similar to our seed keyword here.
Yeah, so like another like thing that you can do if you're in this situation where you're trying to dive deeper into a niche and you're trying to figure out what people are actually looking for is you could use Keyword Scout. So
Mm-hmm.
what I can like show this real quick, but essentially
Sure.
we've got Keyword Scout here. I've just typed in baby feeding set, so now we can kind of see, okay, baby feeding set has almost 4,000 searches per month, but then it shows all of the related search terms. So now we can start to see what are some other things related to baby feeding set that people are looking for. So you can see like, oh, a lot of people are specifically, the biggest thing people are looking for is baby spoons. But then it was interesting you were talking about the plates, Jake, as it's like,
Yeah.
okay, suction plates for baby is really big. And then, yeah, there's even some more baby plates with suction, baby feeding supplies. But yeah, particularly up here, we're seeing, yeah, lots of individual items. Yeah, so this is kind of like a good method to kind of like type in a keyword, see what people are searching for that's related to that.
Yeah, great point. And something else you can do too, if we're back on the extension, what Lenny just showed is typing that keyword, and maybe you don't know what the main keyword is, or you want to see some there's just another way of finding keywords. And if you're in the extension, there's 3 different actions you can do over here. You can add it to your product tracker, look up the keywords, or try to see if we can find the supplier. That doesn't work all the time, but sometimes it does. Really cool tool there. So what Lane just did is I can actually look up my keywords here, and it will bring me to Keyword Scout, but do a reverse ASIN search on that product that I just saw there at the top and clicked look up keywords. So this is also really interesting, Lenny. It's like people who type in baby spoons, for example, are coming and buying this product. So they're
Interesting.
originally in the
Yeah.
market for baby spoons, and there is, if we zoom in on there is a spoon and a fork there, um, but it also comes with other things. So if you get in the mind of a shopper who just wants some baby spoons, they're saying, "Hey, I need some baby spoons." They go on Amazon, they type it in, but then they're given an ad potentially, or even an organic listing of a whole set that makes more sense for them to buy because they're now seeing the price comparison of just adding some other things that they
Yeah.
didn't know they needed. The search term looks really good on this, the volume as well. So yeah, this is a great way of finding other product ideas. We started at the opportunity finder here. We use the extension, and then even with Keyword Scout to look at the keywords, we're finding other opportunities. Maybe we want to look up silicone baby spoons now, or silicone suction plates, bowls, all these ideas that we have now. I think this is a really cool way of doing product research.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely a good idea to kind of be using all of these tools, all these different data points in conjunction to help us make decisions.
Yeah, and maybe just like one more way before we look up the profitability real quick. If you're on a keyword like this that you find from the opportunity finder, or just you're generally thinking something would sell well, you can type it in on Amazon, open up the extension, and do everything we just did in the opportunity finder from these filters here. So you can look at customized views to see all the metrics that you could possibly see, or you can come to customized views here, or filter results, sorry, and enter in all your data points. So all the products that are above $25, 300 sales, you can do all that right here. So yeah, this is it's a pretty cool way of doing product research. There's so many different ways with Jungle Scout to do this. So Lenny, I know we're looking at this product and we're saying it maybe doesn't have the highest demand, but because there's so many options that we could do with it, like we can have a set, or we can very niche down and do just like
Hmm.
utensils. And we saw a million different ways for us to vary this product. I would love to like maybe look at this product here like a set on Alibaba to see how much it would cost. It's probably gonna be very cheap, I imagine.
Yeah, I think that it's worth kind of exploring. I feel like because it's silicon, I feel like it'd be fairly
Yep.
cheap, and it could be, looking at how much we can sell it for, even if we don't get heaps and heaps of sales, we might need as many sales because of, some of the price points are a little bit higher.
Yeah. Let's do a quick search on it. See if we actually see this product. So okay, right there, perfect. I know it's probably a little bit different. You have a bowl, a different type of plate and cup, but for the most part, it's a 6-piece set, and we were just looking at a 5-piece set, I believe. Oh, 7-piece. So either way, a lot of these I know had different variations, 4, 5, 6-piece set. So something like that would be just under $2. Something like this is under $1, and that looks like a pretty good set that comes in a lot of colors. This one looks
Hmm,
really nice. It's high quality, but like look at the price, it's $7. It looks wooden a little bit on certain
yeah,
spots. So I'm sure it's high quality, but um, that price right there is a little scary in comparison to what we're seeing. So I'm seeing it again
definitely.
right here. It looks like the same product actually. So $5, it ranges. Wow. So it goes anywhere from like under $1 to $7 on the very high end. But just looking through this, like another dollar there, $1.40 there. I think we can assume like even if we're just playing it safe, $3, like that's really playing it as safe. I think like ideally you could probably get this under $2. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I
Yeah,
mean a
particularly
dollar
as you're going down
thirty-four.
now, $1.34. Yeah,
Yeah, what do
typically
you
you'll
say we
kind of
just
see
take like
stuff on the.
a yeah?
Yeah, I think we can go in between there for sure.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe just pick one of these guys here. It doesn't really matter. 25, 28. The price point is, let's take the lower one here, $36. All right, Lenny, what are we saying? $3 to purchase it. What are we going to estimate shipping costs here to be?
Maybe something sort of. I probably. I don't know. Another $3, $4, even like $4 or something.
Just really
Yeah.
do worst case scenario on it. I like it. Jeez. Okay, so even with $8 total landed cost, right? Your product cost,
Right.
your shipping cost, 221% ROI. So you're getting back $17 on a
Right.
sale. That's $36. But
Well, I mean, even
you know,
here we could, even here we could go even worst case scenario. Let's say it was like
yes.
$7 for the product, and then say $4 maybe for
Hmm.
you know shipping $11 and $12, we're still, yeah, I mean, this is awesome to see. So even at like
Hmm.
$12, we're still over 100% ROI. Um,
Oh yeah.
but I'm sure that you could
I might
probably
even
get
mess
it.
with this.
Yeah, because you could drop that, and you could probably drop the product cost to $9 or $10 and still be, oh wow, yeah,
Wow.
even at $10 and at a lower
Look at
price.
29.99, like introductory price here. And some of these products are under $30, so it's good to see, like,
Right.
even with an insane product cost and a very low price, still making $9,
About,
$10 basically per unit.
yeah, basically 100% ROI at that point. That's good to see. It's always super valuable
Yeah.
to kind of play with these prices and have all of these scenarios. If we're priced at this, and if we're a product
Mhm.
costs that, and yeah, then like we've spoken about a number of times, you can kind of see worst case scenario.
Yeah. Just looking at this listing here, it's like this guy just started March 10th. He's only got 4 reviews, and his daily sales or monthly sales is only 41 there. But like, if you're selling this product, and he just started, so like imagine what happens in a year from now, with 100 reviews. There's a trade off there that you can think about. Is we could find a product that sells a lot,
Yep.
or you could find a product that sells a little bit, but your profit on it is insane. So the money you actually receive back, your net profit, could potentially be higher on a product like this, that, yeah, sells less units per month, but sells it more profitably. So something to consider, and I think we should potentially look at adding it to our product tracker.
Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting for us to kind of add that to the product tracker, and then we'll just do a quick recap of the three products
Hmm.
that we've found, and kind of see how they stack up against each other. Um, so
Yeah.
that's what we'll perhaps do here in a moment. And meanwhile, if you do have any questions, please drop them into
Yeah.
the chat box. But essentially, what we're doing here, you've seen that in the product tracker, we've got little groups for each individual product where we might add 10, 15, 20 listings from that particular product. And then we're about to go to the overview page, which now just compares all of those groups or products next to each other. So yeah, it'll be really interesting kind of going back and looking at all three, because it's certainly what happens to me during product research, is that I find more and more products, and then I kind of forget what the first one was, and I kind of can't
Yep.
remember how they sort of stack up against each other. So yeah, perhaps let me
Yeah.
know when we might have that available to look at, Jake.
Yep. I'm just adding them right now. And in the meantime, guys, drop your questions in the chat. Let us know if you learned anything today. If you did like that, hit the like button down below, and hopefully you guys are gaining some value from this video. And also let us know if you're selling on Amazon, or you're trying to get going. Like, this is a huge
Yes,
step to get your product launched, and we want to hopefully give you guys some value during that ramp up period.
absolutely. All right, so yeah, Carly was following up earlier that she's selling a salt and pepper grinder, is looking to kind of like add that recipe to kind of add more value. Let's see. Saying an ebook would really improve it. Cool. Struggling with reviews, but I'm working on it, so I'll see how I can add another package stuffer with the QR code when I run out of inventory. Awesome. Yeah, that's good to
Yeah.
hear. Yeah, again, I think you're on the right track, always trying to find ways to sort of add more value to your product, and make it stand out from the rest.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I'll
Let's see
jump.
another.
Oh,
Yeah, I
still.
was just gonna say, actually, with Carly's note about struggling with reviews. Carly, if you are a Jungle Scout user, make sure you're using the review automation tool. I can quickly show you where that's at, and right under
Yes.
marketing tab here, review automation. This will automatically. So I'm using a dummy account right now, of course. So we don't have our account connected, but if you are connected with Seller Central, essentially, you will be able to automate the review process. So basically, in Amazon, you're able to send review requests for orders in the past 30 days. and you have to do that manually. So basically, Jungle Scout would just automate that process for you, so you don't have to. And we've seen it increase people's review or sellers' review rate quite a bit. It increased our review rate when we first started. We were doing about like, I think, Laney, like 10% review rate, meaning 10 out of 100 people would leave us a review, and that really pales in comparison to Amazon's average review rate of 1 to 2%. So
Yeah.
if you're struggling with reviews, I would definitely turn on review automation, and you're already on the right track of doing product inserts. So maybe on one side you have the QR code to download your free recipe. On the other side, you have a call to action to leave a review, or to give, ask for feedback. Essentially, it doesn't have to be, I wouldn't say good feedback. Like, you got to be really careful with the wording there, but
Yeah.
definitely a product insert should help you get more reviews.
Awesome. Okay, so another question here. So it's not necessary to look at that opportunity score. I mean, I don't think it's absolutely compulsory. I typically kind of look at it real quick to kind of, for me, I sort of give anything a chance that's sort of like a 5 and above. And then I sort of do a deep dive. So it's just sort of like an initial reaction, and then, sort of deep dive into the specific columns. Awesome. Glad to hear that people are enjoying the content. Thanks for letting us know, Omar. Really appreciate that. Guys, love your content. And Jungle Scout, thanks so much. Glad that this is able to help you all out. And that was sort of like the point of today, is we're not trying to do perfect product research where we find a fully fledged product and it's going to be the best thing ever, because it's just not how it works. We can't be here for an hour and or it'd be very unlikely for us to find like the perfect product within an hour. But hopefully just us looking at products, talking through the things that we're thinking about, kind of helps you out. Pedro asks which product to use, the product tracker or the Chrome extension. In this scenario, what you've actually seen us do today is use a combination of both. So the extension that works on Amazon.com. So that's great. If you've got some ideas about products, you can type in the name of the product, and then you can just run that extension right there on the page and get an overview. And then the product tracker is great for actually what we're about to show you now, where you've got all of these multiple ideas. Now you can kind of compare them against each other.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool.
Also, guys, if you want to, after this video, watch like more content too. Like I said, we have that how to sell on Amazon video. It's right on our homepage. I would definitely consider that, watching that video. If you are new to selling on Amazon, or you just need a refresher on some aspects, you can scrub through the video. We have chapters in the description to help you find what you need to learn more about. So definitely check that out if you're interested in learning more about Amazon today. And then we're doing these weekly, I think. So, or typically we're trying to do them weekly. So make sure you're subscribed and maybe turn on those bell notifications. We're going to be doing these as much as we can. We're on episode 3 right now, so we're in the early stages of it. So
lots more to come.
Cool.
Omar asks, how can we use keyword search more effectively? Would you recommend other tools like Google Trends? Yes, you can cross-reference with Google Trends as well. That's like another good way to gauge seasonality. It's not going to be specific to buying habits on Amazon. So using Keyword Scout to look at the search volume on Amazon is the best way to look at search data. But I think it's fine to also look at Google Trends to kind of give you a little bit of directional data for that product overall. You might initially like basically see whether it's going up, going down, or not. Those are the two big things that you're looking for. So you can use that, but I think there's so much value just from using Keyword Scout.
Yeah, and Lenny, let me show something real quick on my screen real quick. So you made a good point. You could look at Google Trends. If you're in the extension, you pull up the menu here. If you click Search Trends here, whatever word you typed into the search bar there, it's actually going to do a search for it on Google Search Trends. So for a silicone baby feeding set here, we can see the search trend over the last 12 months here. So Great point you make there. There's a lot of different sources that you should look at. We talked about using units sold as a way to determine demand, but I wouldn't just use sales estimates. I would also use keyword search volume and do it for a ton of different keywords that are relative or relate to that product. But then, as Lay mentioned, using Google Trends might also be helpful, especially if you're planning to sell this product off Amazon. So using the extension, opening up the menu and clicking search trends on whatever keyword you have in the search bar up here will just automatically run that for you. So it's a really quick and easy way to do all your research all in one extension.
Awesome. Let's see. So I've got another question here, and then maybe we'll switch over. If the inventory runs out and we reorder the inventory, Amazon will give us the ASIN and box labels again. Yes, absolutely. So you create your listing once, and then you just continue to send inventory into that one listing that's you've already created. If it runs out of inventory, you can send in another shipment, and then yes, Amazon will give you all of the labels and things that you need. All right. Getting a question about Amazon Australia. Why Jungle Scout doesn't include information on it just yet. Over time, we are looking to cover as many or all of the different Amazon marketplaces that we can. At the moment, I'm not sure where Amazon Australia is in the queue. However, also it's still reasonably small, like it's reasonably small in its infancy. We kind of need to see, a significant number of sales going through the marketplace in order for us to more accurately estimate the sales for any given product. So essentially just wanting to, it probably needs to mature a little bit more for us to be able to more effectively give accurate estimates. But I don't know how far off we are, but I do know that it is in the works along with any other marketplaces that we don't yet support.
Yeah, and Lenny is actually in Australia right now getting to the bottom of that. I don't know if you guys know, but the sun just came up.
Yeah. You kind of outed me. That's my mission here. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. We started this video and it was dark behind you, and now we see the sun.
Right. Shout out to anyone else that might be joining us from Australia.
Probably wondering why we're doing this from our home. It's because Lenny's all the way down under.
That's the reason.
24. Yeah. 12 hours in the future.
Great. So did we have the product tracker that we could take a look at?
Absolutely. Let's look at 3 products we added today, as well as the 6 products we did or we found in the last 2 episodes. So at the bottom here, inflatable baby bathtub, this one right here, the umbrella with clamp, and the silicone baby feeding set. So we can look at the individual groups here, or we can go back to the overview tab, which I think will be more helpful for this case. So this is where we can start to really look at what we talked about today. So demand, average daily sales is how we can look at that. We can also look at the daily revenue in terms of dollar amount to really see what would be the best in-demand product here. So I'm just going to maybe focus on these bottom 3 first, and then we can go back and compare them to the rest of the group. So I think it's pretty obvious that the average daily sales leader here is umbrella with a clamp. Remembering back on that, we determined that there's a lot of unique marketing opportunities here. So it's really cool to see that the demand is the highest, but also realizing that we're going to be able to get sales from a lot of different places. People who want an umbrella when they go to the beach and they just want to clamp it onto their chair. They don't want to have to stick it into the ground and do all that work. They just want to clamp it on their chair. Then you have that whole other niche that we originally found this product from is the baby stroller niche. So if we were to add a few images and keywords, we'd probably be able to hit that target pretty hard. So that's why I'm suspecting this would be the best out of these bottom 3, even without looking at the metrics. But it's great to see that it is leading in terms of demand.
Yeah, and then if we kind of look at our other main things, so overall of those 3, the silicone baby set just has the lowest average reviews, so it potentially has the less competition. And then if we sort of look at sort of price and sort of price profitability together. It looks like both the umbrella and the baby feeding set have probably the most solid prices there. And then if you take away the fees,
I was going to say the umbrella with clamp, as we mentioned, it's a small oversized product. So there are going to be some more Amazon fees with that. But to your point, Lenny, it's actually not that far off from the silicone baby feeding set, about $3 difference between the two.
Yeah, so I guess like just based off purely off these numbers here, which isn't super detailed, but I would probably lean between the bottom two, and then to your point, I do like the versatility of the umbrella with clamp. It would be interesting to see where, like, who else you could sort of target with that. That would probably be like another good example where you would put that search term into Keyword Scout, or do a reverse ASIN search and see what are the keywords that have driven people to that product. And one might be using it on a baby pram or something, but there might be other use cases that we haven't thought of as well that we could market it to using PPC or in the listing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are you leaning towards overall?
It's tough. I would love to do more research, obviously, in all three of these bottom ones that we just found today. The one that really excites me, they all really excite me, I will say. So like the inflatable baby bathtub, you can imagine that's such an easy thing to sell. It's inflatable, so it's going to be easy to ship. The only concern there is, if it pops right away, especially on Amazon, customers are very fast to return things. So that probably has the highest chance of returns, and just in my estimations. It wouldn't deter me from looking into it further, but the other two at the bottom excite me the most. The umbrella with clamp, you saw how excited I was when I saw that there was so many different marketing tactics there, and one of them was for babies, and it wasn't even the main one. So that really excites me. But then the silicone baby feeding set, I feel so curious with this one because as we saw, there's so many different ways for us to sell this product. It could be a set, there could be a 4-pack, 3-pack, 5-pack, 6-pack, 20-pack. It could be a plate set, bowl set, so many different things. And then we realized through Alibaba very briefly that the margins on this are insane. So even though it has the lowest average daily sales out of these bottom three right here, it yielded the most ROI. So we could sell less but still make more with with these silicone sets. So, oh boy, it's tough between these two right here at a very high level. Obviously, we're not diving any further into these today because that would take hours per product group. I'm actually leaning towards the baby feeding set almost, because I love having a product that is very profitable. I think everybody does, but something you can't fix in a product is profitability. Not saying that the umbrellas won't have good profitability, but it seems to me the silicone baby feeding sets would have the highest, and the sales, I feel like I could get those higher than 19 by differentiating the product, bundling it. You could have 3 separate listings, or maybe one listing with 3 separate variations. You have a baby feeding set, a plate set, a bowl set. So you have so many different products in one, where the umbrella with clamp is just one product, unless you had different colors. So that one excites me the most, the silicone set.
Yeah, actually, what you say there makes a lot of sense, because now what I'm thinking is, you have all these variations of that product, and you might just have, they don't all have to be sets either. They could be, because people are all searching for baby spoon or baby plate or whatever. You could have, a pack of 2 spoons or I don't know, whatever, 4 spoons, 6 spoons, plates, and you might have the feeding set, which is maybe the highest price point, but maybe doesn't sell quite as much as some of the smaller items like the plates or the spoons and so forth. But if you have all of them as variations under the same listing, it's like they're all feeding into the one place, and it's like you might have the crazy selling spoons, that's driving people to the listing, but then some of those people are just going to inevitably buy the feeding set because it's you know better value and so forth. So yeah, I think I'm on board with what you're saying there. I think there's a lot of potential to kind of grow that product for sure.
Yeah, you can really see the brand, like with the umbrella with clamp and maybe even the bathtub. It's gonna be hard, I feel like, to add different products similar enough to have someone maybe buy multiple products at once, like really increase your average order value. With the silicone baby feeding sets, like my imagination keeps running because I'm thinking of all these different things that you could add that, you know, a shopper goes, oh, I need that too, and they add it to the cart. So yeah, that one excites me the most. Lenny, what about comparing it to the other 6 products? Like if you were to take, you know,
Oh my
one
gosh.
product from this list.
Okay,
I know my answer, but I'm curious to hear yours first.
Oh, I haven't looked at this list for a little while now.
Okay.
So
Maybe I'll give you a second.
yeah, I mean, okay, I'm just gonna do what I normally do. So looking at, like, if we look at average daily sales, the car pump has the highest. If we look at reviews, the car pump also has the highest. So what's kind of like the best value? Or actually, if I look at the average net as well to kind of give a rough idea of profitability, it'd be like the pregnancy casting kit or the car pump, and then the silicone baby set would be sort of third in line there. And then if I try to cross-reference that with what has like a low number of reviews, oh boy, this is tough now because it's been a couple of weeks since we did this last. So car pump, pregnancy casting kit, maybe the pregnancy casting kit. I'll go with that one for now. I'd need more time, but
okay. Yes, I can give you additional time, and I can share with you mine. That one was unique. That pregnancy casting kit, we actually only found 7 products that were very similar in nature. So this is a category where it's, you know, there's not that much competition there at all in terms of like the amount of sellers. Like there is this one seller that has 5,200 reviews. Outside of that, it's a wide open market, and a lot of the sellers, you know, don't. In these estimations, they don't make that much, so I'd be curious to see if that's dropped over time. We just have units sold over here. Yeah, very inconsistent data. I remember that one was sort of like an outlier, Lenny, just because we didn't find that much in there in terms of the amount of products available. But that was why we added it. It was because this is a unique product that you can see people buying. There's a little bit of data suggesting that people are buying them, but they're only buying them from these 2 companies that are marketing them effectively. So you could come in and hit this market, and yeah, it would be tricky, but like you're also, if you're worried about competition, this would be a good one to compete with.
Yeah.
My answer was going to be the car pump here. It seems so hard to compete with. It has a $30 net, has the highest demand in terms of sales. The only thing that was, you know, off-putting, like you said, was the reviews. It has the highest at an average of, you know, 8,000. Definitely not good for a first-time seller to, you know, potentially choose a category like this where there's a lot of competition. But if you're, you know, experienced or you have a product under your belt and you're looking to add another product, competition, in my opinion, would probably be the least important, you know, kind of thing to hit here.
Yeah,
it is hard to still like kind of compare that with the silicone baby set because it has the best of both worlds: low reviews, high demand, great profitability. So I'm in between the car pump and silicone feeding set, but I don't know. You'd have to look into it more. But those are my top 2 for sure.
Yeah, I like that. And I agree. I definitely sort of favor higher demand rather than lower competition, meaning that, yeah, if something has, I don't necessarily rule it out because of high competition, because I know that it is possible to compete there. But yeah, I see your reasoning there. I would agree. I think that makes a lot of sense. And that's what's really cool about using the product tracker here, is that, you know, we're building on top of the product research that we've done in prior weeks, and product tracker is going to continue to track all of these niches, and you know, we can, it gives us like more time to make a decision, in a sense that we can kind of continue to see how the car pump is going, and you know, next week when we come back in and we add more products, we'll see how silicone baby feeding set is going. So yeah, that's why we'd highly recommend you use the product tracker if you're wanting to compare a number of different ideas.
Just as a little bit of a teaser, Lenny, I'm curious for myself too. What is the next category we're going to do? So if we're going down in order here, we skipped appliances because that seems like a really big category. We could try that one day, but we could go into beauty and personal care. I will say that's like next week, if we want to do this category, that's probably going to be really hard to sift through the good and bad products, because there's going to be things like powders and makeup that we probably don't want to touch because it's just a really competitive environment and sounds risky. But there's probably some really good products in there that are huge players. That's a huge category.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll like spoil that one and spoiler alert, like we're doing that category next week. Unless we find something else we want to do. If you guys have a recommendation for categories, let us know in the comments. Make sure you do it in the comments of the video once the video ends, rather than the chat, because once the video ends, the chat we sort of can't really see, but the comments of the video after this is over, we'll be able to see. So you can ask your questions there as well if we didn't get to them today.
Yeah, definitely. And if you haven't seen the previous episodes, I'd highly recommend you go back and check those out, and kind of see how we came about finding some of those other products that are on the list there. And also make sure that you subscribe down below so that you get notified when we go live for the next episode and continue going through the product research process. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up for today. Anything else we should mention before we wrap things up here, Jake?
No, this has been fun. Thank you guys for joining us. We just dropped a link in the chat. Those are our Prime Day deals. It's a 60% off deal at Jungle Scout. So if you're not a user and you enjoyed today's video and you just want to try Jungle Scout, this would be the best time and most affordable time to do it. So check that out with that link in the chat.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Jake. I think we've made some great progress today. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Take care.
Yeah, we'll see you.